Hey there, GameBuddy here from Sonic F and the Hill is Always Greener podcast. And to tie into our recent episode on the many foods related to Sonic, both in our world and his, I've decided to make a few recipes from the official Sonic the Hedgehog cookbook. I've decided to focus on the flagship recipe and crafted an entire meal around our hedgehog's favorite food, chili dogs. Sonic's fondness for all-dressed meat tubes used to be exclusive to the Euro-American side of the franchise, but as Sega started to slowly unify things into a single continuity, the Franks started popping up in the games themselves and are now forever cemented as Sonic's favorite fuel. The recipes I'm making today are Sonic's signature chili, the perfect chili dog, golden onion rings, and pure Hydrocity. Some of the recipes require some uncommon ingredients, but that encouraged me to get out of my comfort zone and patronize some local specialty markets to find what I needed. And without further ado, let's get cooking. Sonic's signature chili. Can't have a chili dog without chili, right? Sure, you can have it on its own. There's a bunch of recipes in this book you could add this chili to. But before you go too wild, let me remind you, chili dogs. Feel free to experiment, but don't forget this tried and true perfection. If I make this one again, I'll definitely do it in a slow cooker so I can set it and forget it, instead of stirring it occasionally while it simmers 4 hours on the stove. But this time I wanted to keep it to the letter of the book. I roasted the fresh peppers, onions, and garlic and diced them up once they were nice and charred with flavor. I toasted and then blossomed the dry peppers before adding them to the tomatoes and blending well into a saucy base. I combined everything with the browned ground beef, seasoning, and beans and let everything cook together until it was a delicious, beefy, fresh-tasting chili that was the perfect amount of savory and spicy. Golden onion rings. Nothing pairs with a chili dog like a big ol' stack of onion rings. Plus, rings are kind of my thing. It's important not to overindulge though. After downing a plate of these rings, I make sure to go on a run to work off all that fried tastiness. Even if frying food at home can be a little intimidating, these onion rings are pretty straightforward. I think the keys in this recipe are the potato starch for extra crunchiness after frying, and the turmeric that helps give them that signature golden ring glow. The only substitution I made in these recipes was using a simple blue food coloring for the blue cheese-based dipping sauce. I appreciate the call to use a natural food dye like blue spirulina, but I couldn't justify such an expensive ingredient when I only needed around a single teaspoon of it. And that's okay. Pure Hydrocity. Yeah, I know Hydrocity is not a word, but it seemed appropriate.
Hydrocity.
I don't know if this is the best pairing for a chili dog and onion rings, but on its own, it's nice and refreshing. A bit of fizz, a bit of tartness, and I'm all perked up and ready to race. The perfect chili dog. Is there anything better than a warm chili dog on a cold day? Or a warm day? Or at night? Anytime, really. Come on, it's a chili dog. It's perfect whenever. And this recipe right here, also perfect. Aw, man, I want one right now. This recipe is hilariously just make a chili dog. And it claims to be infinitely customizable, so I did just that. I went with some uncured beef dogs, brioche buns, Dijon mustard, and a Colby Jack cheese blend along with fresh diced white onions. Now all that's left is to give it all a taste. The chili really is the star of the show, but it doesn't overpower the rest of the dog's ingredients. Everything comes together into a delicious chili dog, truly worthy of being endorsed by Sonic the Hedgehog himself. The onion rings turned out crunchy and packed with flavor, and the blue dip is a balance of intense and smooth. The blue raspberry syrup and fresh squeezed lemon juice made a sugary, sweet and sour blend that was so good I don't even care how you pronounce Hydrocity anymore. Thanks for joining me on this culinary Sonic adventure. If you'd like to hear about more Sonic food, check out the Hill is Always Greener podcast right here on this channel, or wherever you download your podcasts from. My co-hosts Falero, CyberLeague420, Rock the Jake, and I would love to talk your ear off about that blue spike ball anytime. See ya! And to tie in with our recent episode on the many foods related to Sonic, both in our world and my cat. Come on in. Yeah. Yep, this is it. Yep, this is it. You're being you're interrupting. Did you know that?